As well. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. This is fun. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Your work on.
Oh, see?
Oh.
Now I'm feeling the vibes. Ooh, hey, yes.
Like blue in the background.
Yes, well, this is my home office.
I love it.
Let me give you a little tour.
The
I like it very peaceful and like zenny. And I got my ladies dancing in the background. My wife, bought me that portrait because I love to dance. Yes.
I love it.
And hold on. Ugh.
Welcome to the Fashion Roundtable. We are so super excited to have you here. Who is this? Introduce us.
This is my little baby boy, Logan Dracaris Alvarado Cooper.
That's a whole government name. Okay, hi, Logan.
He's a mess. He was at the vet today and bit 2 people.
Wow, he wasn't playing no games. Well, welcome to the show to you too, Logan. I just want to jump right into it because I'm super excited. Why don't you start off, because I know who you are, and a lot of people know who you are. Why don't you start off by telling us who you are and what it is that you do in the world of fashion and art and lifestyle?
Well, my name is officially Jorge. Hey.
Hey.
Your cafe con leche. And currently I am the executive producer and co-host for Mocha in the Morning, where we're adding a little flavor to your morning blood. And I'm excited to announce that we are coming back for the 4th season.
Wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, so it'll be the week of September the 22nd, which is coinciding with the virtual Tampa Bay Fashion Week as well.
Yes. I love it.
September's all fashion. It's all fashion in September.
All fashion all over the world, September.
Yes, absolutely.
That's exciting about that. So that's it? That's all you want to tell us?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the thing is, I really don't like talk a lot about myself kind of thing, because I'm always more interested in hearing what everybody else has to say about themselves. So it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute, because I try to keep my elevator pitch like 2 minutes and it's a wrap.
Right.
But, I'm like, oh, you want me to talk about me? Because I could be here. This needs to be like a whole series if you want to talk about me.
Do that too. But the tables have turned, and you are used to being on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So, we just want to give you a platform to tell us about your fabulousness, right? So how did you...
Well, this is the deal. Let me just give you a little bit of 411 about my background.
Okay.
So, what a lot of people don't know is that I actually come from a corporate background. Like, I was an actual training director for a bank.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I was in a department called knowledge management, right?
Wow.
And it was during a time where there were so many different banks going through so many different mergers, right? And my job kept getting like downsized and transitioned and, just all kinds of stuff. Until finally it got to the point where there was no job for me. And, HR kind of jobs and those kind of fluffy jobs in corporate America, like, those are the first ones to go. And I really didn't know what else to do. So I started, I was working at a gym in South Tampa, and, my personal trainer at that point in time, that I was going to have to tell her, I can't do this no more because the coins ain't coming in.
Right. Financial.
Was telling me about like how she had a friend who owned a club, and they were like gonna like have dancers, and she had to put together this like show for them. And so I was like, well, I mean, my education in dance is like music videos. Like when MTV came out, like I was, and Video Soul, that was my education in dance and choreography, right?
To learn though.
And so I was like, oh, girl, that sounds like fun. I can help you.
Right.
She got into like a car accident, couldn't really do it. I had to step in and be like, girl, we got this. I can get it together. You know, like we can make up a routine. And all the dancers were actually exotic dancers.
Okay. All right.
So I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't
How
wait.
are we going to?
Good story time. Keep going.
I was like, okay, wait a minute. So y'all work at the strip club. Okay. I said, well, I think the kind of dancing that we want to do at the club is not like that kind of, I mean, like that's cute and all, but like that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to like perform and do like, you know, I was trying to create this cast, you know, of like,
Right.
you know, dancers, choreograph routines and whatever. And so, girl, I had to break them down. I had to break them down. I'm like, tonight you do not work for tips. Like, you work for the 8 count.
Okay. Let's go.
And I think because of my corporate training background, I was able to use those organizational skill sets and apply them and kind of discover my own passion for creating this presentation.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just a dance. It had to be like, oh, like they gave me a budget. Everybody was getting paid. And I was like, oh, so I need wardrobe. I need this. You know, and I was thinking, well, I mean, how do they do it? Like, I watch so many behind the musics and, you know, I'm like, oh, I got this. I got this. Right. And because of that, that job led to the next job, to the next job. And then for a hot minute, I kind of became that person that people wanted to be like, oh, we have this person coming and performing, like get Jorge, he can put the show together and da 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 da.
Right.
And so doing all that choreography work turned into being the creative director. And then all of a sudden I'm putting on live stage shows with dancers and theatrics. And that was when, like, at that time, Tampa and Orlando, like their club scene was glamorous.
Okay.
Clubs are throwing out money at entertainment. You know, it was like the jam. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm getting my life. And they don't really know that I don't have any experience in doing this.
But you had real world experience.
I was like, oh, I can do this because the rent had to get paid. And so I had to, like, really, you know, figure it out. If not, you know, I had to be out of the job. But that's how it all kind of started. And then from there, I got a gig to choreograph my very first fashion show for a huge designer named Andrew Christian.
Okay.
And from that, all of the fashion work started coming in. All of a sudden, I was that guy. If anybody was doing a runway show in Tampa that was going to be big,
they were going to call you.
It was like, oh yeah, but Jorge, because like he'll get it together. Like it, you know, I remember I did a runway show in the middle of 7th Avenue. They were like, the cops showed up, everything. It was everything that the client wanted. And that was for another company called Unico Underwear. And I was like, wow, I can't believe like I'm getting these gigs with these major, like, you know, designers and companies and Tampa, and I'm feeling fabulous. I'm getting my life.
Right.
I'm that person.
Right.
You know? And now I'm like this fashionista, and that really wasn't my background, but I love everything about the fashion world because I grew up with the supermodels, the original, the for real supermodels. Let me just get it together, like the real supermodels, like Linda, Naomi, Cindy, Foxy Lady, out of sight, Cindy, I can feel it, Claudia, Nikki, work the runway, sweetie. Them.
Right.
And so I come from that world, where, you know, with being inspired by runway shows of Jean Paul Gaultier, Galliano, Vivienne Westwood. I'm like, but how do I do that on a Tampa budget?
Well, you obviously managed to do that because you were getting the calls and you were performing, you were showing up, and you were showing, getting it together. So, I mean, how exciting is that? you spoke a little bit earlier about getting the coins and having to have that flexibility and do what you had to do with little experience, but you turned what you did know into this big thing. How now has COVID impacted your business?
Well, this is the thing. I will say that, first of all, I've worked with the same team. I mean, these are like, okay, these are like my these are my ride or dies. Like, you will not see me involved in a situation. And if you don't see any of them, if not all of them, then something's off, right? So Shalette Davis, who I call Wifey, Event Diva. I don't know if she's watching. Hey, um, right? Keisha Pickett Boyd, with blackandthebay.com, blackandthebay.com. And, she started out as like my publicist. And then like, now we're like, it's family. My cousin Claudia, who like works a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
And, we kept it real. I mean, like, how people have like their social circles? Like, girl, like, I think I have like a hat, like a quarter. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when I work, I'm in the game, I'm doing the thing. But when I'm not working, then I gotta be in my back cave coming up with, okay, how are we gonna keep this going? How are we gonna make this happen? And what we doing next? Or usually I have this idea and I go to my girls, I'm like, oh my gosh, so I have this idea, right? And this is what we're gonna do. And they're like, okay, that's great. How are we gonna execute this and when? I'm like, okay, we got 3 months. And they're like, ah!
That's right. So then they get behind the vision and you guys execute and make it happen.
Now with COVID, I was really concerned oh my goodness. As far as my brands were concerned, right? As far as my brands were concerned with COVID. But this is the thing. We were already used to the technology that when COVID happened, we was already ready. Like,
right.
We seamlessly, with Mocha in the morning, that is, we seamlessly were able to transition, and the quality of our programming and the reach that we were getting, it was like, oh wow, like, people were making so many wonderful comments about just the production quality of the show, the content, the contributors. We have Kenya Woodard, Dr. Jen Dobson, Kia Shakur, and we keep, we make sure that everyone is up to date on all the piping hot topics.
Right.
So the thing is, at first I was kind of scared, like, what's going to happen now? Are we going to lose our motivation? Like, are we going to get drowned out with everybody else? Because not everybody, is like, the option was everyone's, so we're all in that same lane. So I was kind of, like, are we going to be able to like to push through and get through it? And we did, and it was successful. And, we still have sponsors, and, we're still able to create and put on a really great show. And I think what's most important in this whole COVID situation, and because I know we're in a situation right now where sometimes I wake up and I just feel so helpless and hopeless and tired.
Right.
Right? Because you're just
that way right now.
Yeah, you're just like over it. And it's kind of like, I want to thank the universe that my struggle is kind of different. Like, I know what it's like to not have a job. I know what it's like to not have a car. I know what it's like to have 3 jobs and walk to every job.
Right.
I know what it feels like to almost get evicted from your apartment and having to like figure that out. And the
struggle.
Yeah, I know that life. I don't like it, but that I know that life. And I think that because of my investments in relationships with people, I was able to come out of that, and keep pushing, and then get to a point where, like, if I kind of like put my heels in the closet and be like, I'm out, because y'all tried it and I'm done, like, I can do that, right? Because I'm at a point where, I made some bad choices, but luckily the good choices that I made turned out.
Right.
We're in a situation where I'm very lucky to give in the amount that I do give,
Right.
But when you wake up hopeless and helpless and tired, you're like, you know what? I'm done. It's a wrap. Like, I'm out of here. I did what I had to do. I don't need to be doing this. I'm in a situation where, like, I'm good. But
Right.
then, isn't that what they want?
Right. So then you
For you to
keep.
stop, for you to quit. And
Right.
I'm a fighter. You
Right.
know, my mom left Puerto Rico with 4 little kids. She didn't immigrate. She didn't immigrate. Let's
Right.
get that out there.
Right.
She moved from Puerto Rico, put 4 kids on an airplane, landed in Tampa. I was not even a year old.
Right.
And she was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so, like, nothing can compare. Anything that I could ever achieve could not compare to what that woman achieved by herself and 4 kids, you know? And I would repeat my childhood over and over and over and over again. And it was really awesome to, like, have that kind of foundation with a single mom.
Right. And
You know,
that's the question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what or who has inspired you along your journey, and it sounds like your mom is a huge part of that.
it's totally huge because I don't know if you met my mom, but some people tell you she's a lady in disguise.
Okay. I'll
Because
laugh.
she has got a mouth on her. I mean, she's gorgeous and just all of that, right?
Right.
But don't try it. You can't try it with her because, like, it's a wrap. Listen, on Saturday mornings after we would listen to Diana Ross and did all of our house tours,
Right.
every single kid, I'm the youngest of 4, so all of us, including my sister and my 2 older brothers, had boxing gloves on, and we were in our carport, and it was like, okay, let's go, let's take turns.
Training.
I'm like, I'm in kindergarten. If I would
Right.
get knocked down, she would like, get up, hit him back. Do not, like, that's the kind of mom I had. I had the kind of mom where, like, I went on every school field trip. I got to schools. Like, I don't know, like, there wasn't anything that I couldn't really, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, and I'm like, how does she do this? Like, I don't know if she was ever hungry. I don't know, like, if she was wearing the same clothes every day. I don't know if she wasn't paying the bills or not. All I know is that I was just
You were
getting
happy
my life.
and taken care of. It sounds like you got a lot of your motivation and your drive, your passion.
Well, and the thing is, funny story. My mom was the kind of mom, like, when she would show up at school, everybody like, oh my God, like, who's that? You know, I remember she showed up in these tight, pink bubblegum stretchy jeans, showed up on my Thanksgiving play.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah. Hair out there, here, heels, all that at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
right.
But I remember one time somebody was picking on my brother Walter, and he came home all really upset about it,
Right.
which is really crazy. Here are my siblings' names: Lori Jill, Walter Lee, Stephen Dale, and I get Jorge Luis. Girl,
Wow.
I don't know.
Last
So,
child, she had to go big.
so my brother was upset, and so you know what happened? My mom said, "Who? What? Okay, everybody, let's go." We walked to that person's house, and everybody had to go because my sister had to fight his sister, my brother had to fight his brother. Like, everybody has somebody to fight, and we showed up. My mom knocking on the door, be like, "There's a problem with your son and my son. Let's handle this right now in the street." And she brought everybody. Everybody had a weight class.
That's what those boxing classes were for.
That's my mom. So anyway, so
Wow.
yeah, so I do, when it comes to encouragement and drive kind of thing, I do look to her for, like, a source of energy and encouragement to not throw in the towel. But creatively, you know, again, I'm an 80s kid. So in the 80s, man, that was a huge decade of where creativity was just so explosive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Before the internet, you know, and where we were riding on the cusp of this technology that just kept skyrocketing. And so I'm kind of glad I got to see what it was like to come from the grind and live through the constant change in technology kind of thing and be able to grow and evolve through all that.
I love that. And speaking of kind of technology and trends, how important to your craft is it to stay on top of trends and current events and, you know, from technology to style, because you're a fashionista in your own right, like all of those things that are all inclusive for putting together this show that's relevant. Like, how important is that for you?
Well, it's funny because sometimes I think it's just imperative, not
Right,
even important, just it's imperative.
right,
And then some days I'm like, what else we gotta do?
right.
Oh,
It is.
like, let's pump some brakes for like a second. And at the same time, sometimes I feel nostalgic about the way some things used to be done, you know? And everything right now is so fast. You know, there's something to be said for not watching an entire series of a program in one day. You know what I mean? I think we're just consuming so much. And I just think we're just getting to the point where it's exhausting.
Mhm.
It's just exhausting consuming all this information and this content. And where, you know, sometimes I start to become very critical of what people are putting out there that they consider to be art, what they consider to be original, what they consider to be unique. You know,
Right.
everybody's authentic. Everybody's like the same thing. And I miss those days truly. And I don't mean this in an arrogant way, because for me, it's always been like a goal to achieve a certain level. And I'm a firm believer that not everybody's going to make it and not everybody can make it, you know, because everyone's version of success is
Mhm.
different. You know, if you just want to be the next hot thing and look cute, if you want to be in real estate and every picture of you on Instagram is you in a bikini, what are you selling?
Right, right, right.
I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, are you selling the house behind you that I don't see?
Right,
Or are you looking cute with 65 different filters?
right.
And like, you know, are you really in real estate? Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like I like for people to be very clear in their messaging and their branding. And I think that so many people want to do so many things and are in so many lanes that we end up with so much like clutter that people confuse as like creating content.
Right, right.
And at the same time, I think that it's so fast and so easy to like, you're cute on Monday, no more heard of you on Tuesday. Like, you know, like, are these followings real? Are you consistent? Are you really in this game to be in this game? Are you on like on this like quick trip, you know, this like get cute fast? Or like truly, what are you trying to do? And I think that um, those people who are honest and sincere in what it is that they're trying to accomplish and achieve, the road is very hard and it's tough and it's not guaranteed, but then
Right.
you will find your success and just trying to fulfill whatever you think you're meant to do. And that should be the happiness that you're looking for. And
Right.
that should be like the payout. The monetary stuff, if you're doing it for that and you are aware of that, you know,
Right.
you're only doing it for the money, then that's one thing, because that's a whole other scenario kind of thing. So it's tough out there. So you really, you know, and it shows, you know, because you see people come and go like all the time.
Right.
You know, I've tried so many different things. I've written for, you know, it took me a while to finally find my comfort zone and exactly what it is I want to do. From doing stage shows to like creating large events, like creating the blueprint for Tampa Pride that no one
Right.
seems to ever like remember that it was like, you know, Pride on 7th that started everything.
Right.
When it was a very hostile political climate, you know, it was our group of individuals and creative people. And it was mostly, I'll tell you this for real, we're being straight up. It wasn't even the LGBTQ community supporting me at the time.
Mhm.
Like, my backbone and my support comes from people who look exactly like you. Like, I
Right.
know who my squad
Like,
is.
right.
I know who my squad is. I know the group of people who appreciate the things that I do.
Right.
Because a lot of it is selfless work, and a lot of it is creating opportunities that other people can participate in, and within that, put them on a platform so they can create their own opportunity. I've always tell people, if someone isn't like letting you be on their show, putting you on their stage, no one wants to want you to write for them, whatever, then you do it. If you don't like what you see out there,
absolutely,
then you do it. You don't wait for anybody to give you permission. For what? Like, I don't need to ask you. You know, I'm not begging you for money. I'm not begging you for time. I'm not begging you to give me a chance. I'm saying, hey, this is what we're bringing to the table. Do you want to be a part of it? You don't? Okay, because we're going to make this happen. Thanks.
Well, with you or without you. That's one thing that I love about you. You seem, I mean, not seem, but I know you're genuine, right? And you're not pulling any punches. You can be known to be a little political, right? And an activist. And those things are important to you. And it's okay to have that perspective. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to create this platform. We wanted to give people the opportunity to give their individual brand, style, art perspective. And we don't have to fully agree or disagree, but it's out there. And it's giving people a way to connect and talk about things. And talk about the history of things, because sometimes people don't realize. I saw a comment, we brought Pride back to Tampa. Maybe people don't even realize that or know that.
Right. And you know what? I'm okay with it, because we were able to achieve that. We did it. You know, it was, we were very clear about what it was that we wanted to achieve. And I was fully aware of the kinds of responses or participation I would get. But this is the thing, and I tell people this all the time. I choose who I want to work with. I choose who my clients are. I choose who I want to create with. And if, like, our core value system is not in alignment, I'm okay with it. I'm like, thank you for your time, but, like, that's not the route we want to take. I don't need your money that bad. I don't need your, like, we're good, but thank you. When we were doing Mocha in the, listen,
sometimes
when we were, it was our third season of Mocha in the Morning, and we were like, okay, it was a sponsorship time. And I went to a blogging conference, and I met a social media director for a large company. I'm sure if you watch Mocha in the Morning, you'll see when the sponsors come up, you can figure it out. And I remember just being prepared for the meeting, because this is my thing too, what people forget nowadays. How are you going to walk into somebody's corporate office and looking like you just got finished cutting the lawn?
Okay, let them know. Presentation is important.
Like, first of all, I love fashion. I like wearing my pants all kind of loose and sit. I like people seeing my underwear because it's expensive. You know what I mean? I love all that. It was great. But I'm trying to walk in here and get this money from these white people to support this show with a black cast for women of color.
Right.
And I need them to get on board. I walk in, and, very typical, they tell you how they're running things and what they're looking for. And almost as if, like, it's a privilege to even be in that boardroom.
Right.
So I was in a navy blue Armani suit and wearing some, a pair of Pradas. And I had crossed my legs. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just put this on the table. I didn't come here to beg anybody for money. I came here to offer you an opportunity, right, to be a part of making change and creating change. So if your corporation is really sincere, you need to be able to say, you know what, whether or not we get something back on this, we need to change our corporate culture, and we need to, take a chance and, not just pretend and run commercials with people of color in them. No, I'm talking about, what does your staff look like? Your managers,
Okay,
What
you
kinds
are.
of, how are you making it comfortable for the people that work for you? And how are you making it comfortable for people of color, to walk into your place of business and not feel like you'll get the worst rate, everyone's going to ignore you,
Right.
like almost to the point where you feel lucky that you walk out of there with something,
Right.
So I said,
And
if you're not going to be if you don't want to be a part of truly investing in, a brand that is
right.
about lifting and
Right.
educating and growing and participating, if you don't want to be involved in it, I'm okay with that. That's
Mm.
cool. Because if you only want to be involved because after a certain amount of time, you're like, yeah, but nobody came back here and bought anything. Okay, so why are you doing this? You just want to get customers and be like, it only work. Like, I said, no, boo boo. Like, you need to put the time. Like, first of all, you owe us the time.
Okay.
So before you start expecting any immediate return on your investment, that's not the game I'm playing. Like,
Right.
now, boo boo. If anything, like, you should be happy that I'm sitting here with my girls offering this to you because we
Right.
could offer it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's your brand. It's your
Oh,
brand, not mine. My brand is good. Like, I mean, we're going to go on air regardless of whether you want to be on board or not.
right. Right.
And, and I think you just have to be bold like that with
Right.
those kinds of people because, it's almost as if, they want to feel like they have some sort of power over you. And I'm like, maybe if I was 18, 19, 20, but no, ma'am, not today. Like,
Right.
yeah, no.
Having worked in corporate America and having that education and that background, you know your value, and that's important. So, where do you see your brand in 5 years, in 10 years?
I'm like,
Where
ooh,
do you see yourself?
retired.
Retired. Love it. Okay, I love it.
Retired in the south of France,
I
playing
can't.
tennis, because I play tennis, girl. I just snagged another trophy, just so y'all know, I'm athletic. No, I think what's really cool kind of about like my career trajectory is I've really been able to kind of do a whole bunch of little things that led up to one big thing. I hosted actually a late night talk show.
Okay.
And it was called The Jorge Show. And again, that all started from how do I take all these different jobs in the creative field
Mm-hmm.
and put them into a vehicle that's like one job, right? And again, I go to my girls and I'm like, listen, I really think we should start a TV show. And instead of like putting on the parades, putting on the fashion shows, doing the events, whatever, why don't we just talk about them?
Right. Right. I mean, everybody likes to hear about that.
And they're like, but how are all of a sudden are we going to pivot to do a TV show? And I remember I was a big fan of public access. And I remember watching the Tucker twins on public access. I remember watching Rick Rollins, if you're watching, hey, Rick. And I also remember watching another TV show called The Hot Seat. And I remember as a kid, I'm like, oh my God, like people can be on TV. And because when I was younger, I was actually on the Mickey Mouse Club as a dancer.
Okay.
Whole other story.
Right.
But I remembered that. I was like, you know what? Like, why don't I see what kind of programs they have, and see how they can help me get into this whole TV thing. And so when I went down there to the actual network, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that they had a whole training program,
Okay.
right? And so I was like, wait a minute, if we're going to do this, like, I want to speak the same language as the people that I'm going to be working with. Like, I want to be able to have that conversation with the camera person, with the lighting person, with the technical director, I just want to be able to, like, not just sit on the air and let everybody do stuff and I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also have this thing is, like, if I hire you to do a job for me and I do it better, why are you on my payroll?
And be disappointed. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was my thing. I wanted to be able to be like, not people trying to pull some wool over my eyes. And at the same time, just have an awareness of how this business works. So I did all the training, learned all that stuff, got certified. I was producing other people's shows. I was directing other people's shows until we were ready to launch my show. And when we did, girl, I thought I was going to be the breakout star. It was going to be a hit.
Right.
And nobody wanted to be on it.
Well, I mean, listen, we're getting honest. We're getting to the tea now. We're getting to the tea.
And this is the thing. I was like, I don't understand, because it was supposed to be like happy hour on the Jorge show. It was a live show every Friday, 7:30. And my whole thing was like, I want to create this platform to really, for all the creative people. If you're a dancer, if you're a singer, if you're an actor, if you're promoting something, like if you're a design, I mean, I was just putting it out there.
Right.
It was like, he ain't got no TV show. He don't know, what is he doing now? How Jorge always just keep like his career keeps changing, and people think like just because of your change, they don't realize like no, you're growing, you're evolving,
right?
You're learning, you're finding yourself professionally, creatively, passionately. Right. And I was like, and so I began to get frustrated because I was like, I don't understand. Like I'm here for y'all, but y'all don't want to like be on TV. That's weird.
Right.
So then I started creating funny skits, and just, coming up with different segment pieces. And I was talking to my cousin Claudia, and she's like, well, I don't understand why people won't be on your show. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, why don't you ask stars? And I was like, what do you, like, who, like, if people in Tampa don't want to come on my TV show, okay, what makes you think any kind of, like, real celebrities, stars are going to come on my show? And she's like, well, have you tried? I'm like, well, how do you do that? She's like, okay, you know what? If I can get people to be on your show, I was like, stop. If you can get people to agree to be on my show, I will go to them. I don't care where they are. Let's get it popping. She's like, deal. Child, next thing you know, I'm in Miami. I'm working red carpet next to people from Bravo, Dennis Rodman, the Housewives of Miami. Oh my goodness. The guy, some dude from American Idol. Next thing you know, some dude from another network say, hey, I like your style. Next thing you know, I'm in New York. I'm with Margaret Cho. I'm with freaking Armin van Buren. I'm with Mike Ruiz. I'm like with all the Project Runway stars. Betsy Ross. I'm like, okay, like doing the thing. I'm at Paramount Studios. I'm at my Jorge show, Pink. I'm with some of the biggest Bollywood stars in the world. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, he's for real doing this. Right. Yeah, we can be on your show now. I'm like, oh, you got to wait because we're praying for like, you got to wait now.
That's how it always
because, like, I don't know if I can fit you in.
That's how it always is. It's hardest in your own town to get the recognition. But what a great story.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah.
I'm up. I love that. So, do you really want to be retired, or do you really want to just?
I say that, but I'm just tripping. Only because, like, again, like that's for me. That's kind of like giving up, and that's just not in my blood. Like, it's just I say that, and I'm silly. Only because I get frustrated, and as I get older, I'm learning to. Sometimes I'm just more in my feels than I've ever been.
Right.
And I'm actually hypersensitive, and my public image, a lot of times people don't even think I'm smart. They're just like, it was just fine. That's great. Like, you bought the branding. Perfect. I don't need you to know my real business. Like, I'm completely self-aware. I understand that what I do is a job. I understand I'm good at what I do. And for me, it's just about, I'm creating a harmless, inviting, cheerful image, to put a smile on someone's face and make them feel a little bit better about this life period at that moment, because life is hard and the struggle is real.
You make it seem easy, really. Attending shows that you've done, or even just watching, you make it seem so easy. And it's not that easy to command a crowd that way and make everyone feel you're strictly talking to them and make everyone feel special. But you do that so well. I have to tell you
Oh,
that.
thank you. Well, I think that's my goal. My goal truly is, without you knowing, is I want to disarm you so you can take in joy.
Right, right. Well,
And
you
truly, that is my end game. Like, because for whatever reason, I feel that the universe has gifted me this unknown energy, and I never knew what to do with it. And the thing is, it's like, what I've learned about myself is like, if you are yourself, then you have an ability to translate joy, just innocent, pure, no strings attached moments of joy where you can lift someone up in their spirit. And that to me provides fuel for my heart, which goes to my brain and be like, you have to keep doing this because this is what you're supposed to do. And
wow.
this is what you do. And it's just what happens. And, some people have that, some people don't. It took me a while to realize how to channel it correctly. But truly, it is about disarming people so that they can take in moments of joy and just latch onto that when everything else could be in so much disarray, whatever. But if I can get you lifted for 3 seconds, a minute, 10 minutes, whatever, well, then everybody needs a little bit of that in their
Well,
lives.
you do that so well, which I'm going to ask you one we want to know question, and then you're going to tell me what's up next for you and
Okay.
find you and connect with you and your team. So my one we want to know question for you is, what is your love language? Since we're talking about skills,
Oh my God.
is your love language words of affirmation, receiving gifts, physical touch, or acts of service?
Okay. So, my favorite thing to do, and I really do, and I love creating swag bags and giving them to people.
Okay.
Like, I love, and a lot of times because I love products and I love gadgets and I love things, and for the most part, my tribe, for the most part, are all women. And there's so many things that I wish I could have for myself that are so cute. So I end up like buying them in 3s and 4s and 5s and creating bags to give away of things that I would love to have for myself. But like, what am I going to do with an eyelash curler that's Brad? You know what I mean? That's gold. Like, but I really do. I love.
For you, the event diva, acts of service. I love that.
That's cute. Well, this is the thing. I truly love nurturing people, and I love, and somehow, in some way, taking care of people, and I really love to get people to see their own gifts.
Okay.
And what and what it is that they bring to the table and what they can do. But I also have a high expectation of a result and of a response kind of thing. Because you get in what you put, you get what you put in.
Right.
There's a lot of work, and effort. And the thing is, I am so super, like, I love loving, and I am a sucker for it. And I'm one of those people. I fall in love all the time, every day.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
and sometimes that's cute, and sometimes that's bad. But I will say that my love language is, materialistically, I love gifting. I do. I love gifting, and I love surprising people. But I guess acts of service. I'm very committed to several different causes that are very dear and close to my heart. And so those people are like Miracles Outreach, is one of the organizations that I love working for.
Okay.
The Crisis Center, which we're going to start a brand new relationship with this particular season. So, And on the personal and private side, me and my husband, we spend a lot of time going over a lot of different organizations that we feel we need to support, financially, because sometimes you can't show up to everything, but you can still find a way to support certain things that are very near and dear to your heart. Most importantly, though, my greatest act of service, I will say, is voting.
Voting. You guys get out there and vote. It's a real thing. I'm glad that you said that.
Do it. That is my greatest act of service, is voting.
It really is. So tell us what next coming up and where we can connect with you and your team.
Absolutely. Well, we have the new season of Mocha in the Morning that's coming up. So it looks like we'll be on air probably the third week of September. Tampa Bay Fashion Week is coming up that same week on the 23rd. And so I know that there are some things happening. I have a great relationship with Nancy Vaughn. So that's pretty awesome. And then I continue to also do social media campaigns for other brands. So I get to participate, on the talk show. And at the same time, I still get to do some of my other brand partnerships with different brands that I've worked. And I've worked with people like Unilever, Dove for Men, Degree, McDonald's, the Essence Festival, just doing the thing. So, that is on the, it's going to be another busy year.
Busy is good.
Yeah.
Busy is good, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be so, is I reach out and be virtual. I'm like, yes. I've been social distancing ever since I got married anyway, so.
You're a mess. Tell us where we can find you. Our viewers are watching.
Yes. Well, you can follow me personally at I Am Officially Jorge on Instagram. And you can also follow at Mocha Morning Show, no G. And that is, we do our Facebook Live show every Friday morning at 10. And all the viewers are able to jump in and be a part of that conversation. And if any of your viewers, if you have any stories and things that you want to share, then you are, again, our platform is there. If you want to have some cafe con leche with us.
Of course.
And of course, again, you can see me at any local events, like all the ones that you guys do.
Of course, we love you guys.
Because y'all are family.
The circle of trust is there. We love collaborating with you guys. You're amazing.
And like I told you before, I'm like, wow, they got it together. They are so organized. They got paperwork. I had to sign things. I had to commit a timetable. They gave me a tutorial. I'm like,
thank you so much. We're working on it, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Enjoyed you. You've educated us. You've dropped some beads of wisdom, and we continue to support you guys. And we just love you guys. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Always such a blast. And we wish you guys all the best in your upcoming endeavors. Bye, Logan.
Thank you for letting me add a little flavor to the Fashion Roundtable.
Have a good night.
I'll see you on the catwalk.